We are very near the end of our road. We face congressional elections in November. We may lose Pennsylvania, Ohio, and Indiana. However, as you all know, I have said more than once that if I could preserve the Union by freeing all of the slaves, I would do so. Or by freeing none of the slaves. Or by freeing some of them. Well, I shall now do the third, as a military necessity. I have prepared a proclamation of emancipation, which Mr. Chase now has in his hand. I shall in due course publish it, and it will be the law.
Do I understand you, sir? This would free only the slaves in the southern states actually in rebellion?
Yes, as a military necessity.
This is half measures.
Well, I am a slow walker, Mr. Chase, but I never walk back.
Sir, do you invite comment?
Mr. Blair.
My view, sir, is that if you publish this, we will lose the November elections and we'll be faced with a Democratic Congress.
Consider, sir, the news from the West. General Grant.
Grant? General Pope said Grant is useless. When not drunk, he's in some kind of a stupor. At Shiloh, he was surprised by the enemy.
But he would not retreat.
I'm told more men were killed at Shiloh than in any single day of modern warfare.
Oh, he's a common butcher.
But he held the ground.
My point, sir, is that we are plainly not winning the war. Therefore, I suggest that you postpone your proclamation until you can give it to the country coupled with a military victory. Otherwise, it'll seem like our last shriek in defeat.
I fear that is eminently sound advice. Mr. Hay, put this away in the strong box. We shall keep this secret until such remote time as I am able to celebrate a victory.
On one side of Antietam Creek, McClellan on the other. McClellan claims yesterday's battle is a complete victory. However, since I have taken over the War Department, I have learned that with McClellan, one never knows.
Mr. Stanton, I see you have already grasped the most important facet of your new position.
If he allows Lee to escape and join up with Stonewall Jackson at Harper's Ferry, they could take Washington.
Mr. Stanton, there is no doubt Little Mac has a permanent case of the slows. How many men has he on Antietam Creek?
On September 17th, he had 90,000 men. First estimate of casualties is 15,000.
It is worse than Shiloh.
The rebels have almost as many casualties, and they have fewer men. From McClellan. Lee's army has retreated into Virginia.
Well done.
But McClellan does not pursue him.
No! Well, we will have to pretend that yesterday's battle was the glorious Union victory we've been waiting for. It is as close as we are likely to come while the great American tortoise remains in command. Johnny, I think you can take my proclamation out of the strongbox.
Do I understand, sir, that slavery will still continue in the border states of the Union, and that you're only freeing slaves in the Confederacy to punish rebellion?
I have not the authority to abolish slavery in the Union. When the war is over, I would initiate a constitutional amendment to do so if I am still in this chair.
Well, sir, half a loaf is still nourishment to a starving man.
Gentlemen, I want your help. Congress has given me a sum of money toward the colonization of New Grenada in Central America. The land is rich and it is empty. If you choose, it can be filled with your people. Gentlemen, you are free men, but your race is suffering, in my judgment, the greatest injustice ever visited on any people. But even when you cease to be slaves, you are still a long way from being placed on equality with the white race. On this broad continent, not a single member of your race is made the equal of a single one of ours. It is better for us both to be separated.
Mr. President, this is our country, too. Some of our families go all the way back to the very beginning. So why should we leave our homes to settle in some wilderness Congress has given you?
If intelligent, educated men, such as yourselves, won't go, how will the former slaves manage to organize? How will they support themselves?
For 3 centuries, they have been supporting themselves and their white masters. And I think we can assume that if they are not obliged to sustain a white population in luxury, they will be able to look out for themselves nicely.
Why would any black man want to live in this country where there is so much hatred for him?
Perhaps they think that will change once slavery is gone.
I had always believed the colored race to be inferior to the white. But then I grew up among hill folk who never knew Negroes. Indeed, I never saw slavery until I went down to New Orleans on a flatboat as a young man. I have never understood why so many white people fear and hate the black man. But I must consider the likelihood that my own beliefs have been affected by this atmosphere of hatred.
Well, sir, if you will allow me, I think of Mr. Frederick Douglass and so many others. Does it not seem that given the same opportunities as a white man, the Negro is probably every bit as capable?
Well, Mr. Thomas had the advantage of me in his answer to my question on freed slaves supporting themselves. But I know from looking into my own mind, such venomous opinion of the Negro has been bred into the bone in this country that I fear it will come out in the flesh.